What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a hot minute since we've been live or had any videos. We had some kind of in the background at the end of last year. We had our awesome engagement proposal video from last October. So kicking off 2022 now that we are kind of getting into that spring mode. We still have some crappy weather here. Michigan is being a pain. I think they have been hitting the liquor bottle a little bit too much as far as Mother Nature, that is. And we're hoping that we can get out in the water soon. It's actually March 13th today. It is snowing. It's cold. It's like 10 degrees. I'm wearing my AFCO Technical Reaper hoodie. Great product by AFCO. Actually very excited. They are partnering with Major League Fishing this year. They will be awarding the highest finishing boater and co-angler a free entry fee for the BFL event. So we're really looking forward to that. It's still kind of in the works, and I don't think it's been fully released yet, but looking forward to that, being a part of it, and seeing what else AFCO does for the industry. So for today, we're going to go through a console and bow mount transformation. So my electronics and my mounts have taken a beating the last few years, fishing big water like St. Clair and Saginaw Bay. So I decided it was time. I got some awesome mounts. I installed them, and now we're going to walk through kind of what we did, what we got, and any tips or tricks you might have. Any tips or tricks for you if you decide to do the same install. So really excited. We're going to call this the Bass Boat to Battleship transformation. Without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, we're going to start off with the bow mount. So I got here the straight up mounts, dual 5-inch rise mount here. It's pretty awesome. I got my Garmin unit here for live scope up top, and then my down below. Pretty easy to install. There's three holes on each side of the main setup here. I actually had to use kind of like lag screws in a way. They're pretty long, 2+ inch screws to kind of get those fastened down. Put a little epoxy on them so they wouldn't slip. And the reason was because older boats like this weren't exactly set up to have these kind of crazy electronics that we're seeing nowadays. So there's a bunch of foam and insulation in there, and I wasn't able to kind of cut that out. So instead of putting a lock nut on the bottom, I decided to screw those in. It's solid. You can see, if you look at it, this thing is not budging anywhere. And then there's these 4 bolts, so 2 each side here. It's kind of a slide, so you're able to slide this plate back and forth as needed. I kind of set it to what works best for me, but I believe those are 1/4 20s, I believe, size, so 1.5 inch bolt, something like that. And then as you can see, you can adjust your graphs here, so you kind of mount those down here. 4 bolts for each one to hold those down. I think those are size 10 by 10/24s, and they're about inch. And I put a nylon nut on that. So here's just a comparison to what I had before. As you can see here, I moved my power pole buttons over here. I like to keep them on the right because I have my right foot on the trolling motor, so I like to keep that constant. But before, I had this long arm, and actually my Garmin actually popped off during a Detroit River tournament coming across the Miracle Mile. So I'm excited to get that out of there, and this looks awesome. So huge shout out to Straight Up Mounts for making a great product. As I said, this thing's solid. I don't see it budging anywhere, and we're excited to get out there and go. On to the fun. Here's a new setup here I got for the console. So Bass Boat Technologies has a badass dual mount here. You can see they kind of sit side by side. You're able to adjust the spacing of these. So actually, initially I had them in a little closer, but with the covers on, they were pretty much touching. So awesome install. So basically the way this goes, you can see here all the original gauges are in. So my buddy Evan Eldred, who you might know, the BFL regional winner, no big deal. He's kind of a big shot now, but he still considers me a friend, I guess, so that's good. He came over, helped me out. He had this on his previous Ranger, so what he did was kind of take off the pre-existing console, pop these gauges out, which was not very easy because there's a lot of little nuts on the back end of these bolts on the the gauges. So we end up popping those out and then sliding in this new one. So the new one is cut to size. We did have some issues. Had to use like a Dremel tool to basically open up these holes to fit the gauges fully in. So the sizing, like perimeter wise, of the Bass Boat Technology mount was perfect, but some of the hole spacing or the holes were not lined up 100%. So a little Dremel tool went a long way, helped a lot. Just to mention too, Bass Boat Technologies makes these mounts specific to the model. So this one was for a range of, I think, 2003 to 2007 Ranger VX series. So I had the 06 519 VX. So this worked perfectly. It slid right in. As I said, solid as can be. This is not budging at all. Ended up having to cover up this. So I originally had the one on the ram mount as shown now. This was kind of chintzy, so I ended up having to kind of cover that up, fill it in. So what I did is I just used a little padding here. Pretty nice, kind of like a new step. So pretty pleased with it. Everything here is solid. We're liking to have both our sonar GPS and our mapping on one, and then our side on the other. So we're excited to be running these both up in front of us. Really looking forward to it. As I said, very excited, very happy that we did this. This deal has been something that's kind of bugged me, and any tournament angler knows minimizing the stress elements is key. So you always have something on the boat, something, your tackle rods, that you just kind of like about. So getting this out of my kind of worry, having my graphs shut off, having my graphs fly off, whatever it might be, I'm kind of excited. So we'll have a new stress element pop up, I'm sure, but to minimize and to beef up these graphs and their mounts was critical, and I'm really excited to get in the water. All right, we're gonna wrap up here a little bit. So that was just kind of a high level what we did. If you want any details on some of the installs or that, feel free to reach out. I will gladly help as much as I can. As I said, the console mount was kind of touchy, having to deal with the gauges and things like that, but we were able to get everything done and lined up, and everything set as far as their wiring and all that underneath, tied up good. So went well. We're looking forward to getting on the water here soon. As always, if you are new to the channel, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. P. Ricky Fishing. We'll be having lots of content to come this year. Please go enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will come back here soon with another video.